Hi, welcome to Brady's Blunders, where I show you the mistakes in my games, hoping you don't make the same ones in yours. I'm actually continuing the last game, and this is the position. I'm actually reasonably happy with the game because my opponent has made a few more slow moves, so I feel that I'm in the lead. My opponent's just invaded the top, and I played here. This is actually not the best, and my opponent played here, and I played this, which is not the best. And I'm not going to go through a lot of variations, but if you're interested as to why those aren't the best and what I could have done differently, you can download the game file or view it at Life in 19 by 19, and I've linked to it in the comments section, the information section of this video. At any rate, I played here. And the reason this is often a bad move is it makes it easy and cheap for white to sacrifice one stone trying to make good shape on the other side, which he did. And he was pretty glad for the I shape. Then he played here, and I was quite happy to cover. And then white played this. And this is the game position that I want to talk about. And normally I ask, where would you play here? And matter of fact, if you want no hints at all, go ahead and pause now. But I'm going to give you two options, and these were the two that I read. No matter what happens, white's corner is getting cut off from this group. And so I looked at two options. I looked, let's call this one A, and this one is making shape in the corner, and then white comes through, and then black lives. So let's call this option A. And then option B is cutting white off, and then white cuts black off, and then black descends here. Let's call this option B. Let me show them again. So option A is this one, where I live in the corner. And option B is the one where I make the point to split white, but I end up with this shape in the corner. Great. You're black. Which do you choose, A or B? I chose A, which was wrong. And white happily came through, and I lived here. And when I played this, Jenny, my teacher, said, Brady, it's the wedge all over again. And what did she mean by that? She was referring to the same situation that I covered in episode 3 of Brady's Blunders, the episode about a wedge, in which I had the choice to cut my opponent off and fight, a fair fight, or I had the ability to take the easy way out. And I chose the easy way, which was wrong. And I did exactly the same thing here. I chose the easy way that I could read. So why is this so bad? Well, other than just being submissive, number one is white had two weak groups before, but now they're connected, and now they're strong. So there's no target there anymore. That's thing one. And then thing two is I am in Gote. White now has the initiative on the board. So why didn't I play the other one? Well, I read this and I read one more move further. And I know that this is a dead shape for black, and I know this from experience in my games. And I read this far and no further and thought, okay, it's a dead shape, and I discarded. And I went for the easy way. And when Jenny talked about, but it's the wedge problem all over again, I could, she's known for occasionally giving a sharp rebuke, but she didn't do it this time. But I could hear the disappointment in her voice, and actually that's even worse than the sharp words would have been. At any rate, so why is this actually playable for black? Well, this is a dead shape if white is alive on both sides, or white has a ton of liberties on both sides. And if that isn't true, then black has some options. And the truth is, even this white group isn't completely alive because with this sequence, it has only one eye. But that said, it does have center access and has quite a lot of liberties, so it doesn't make a really good target. But when you look at this white group over here, actually it looks kind of puny, like I might be able to mess around with it a bit. And as I said, I didn't even read the options here. But now that we think about it that way, all right, I can maybe put some pressure on this white group. This move becomes pretty obvious. I'm not saying it's the best, and actually there are other options, but this move is one that you would look for right away because it threatens to connect out. So white connects. The other thing that this move does is it separates this stone from this stone. So let's go ahead and do that again, separating this stone from this stone, like this. And this is actually a common shape, or common moves in what's called the carpenter's square. White will go ahead and play this to deny black's eye space, and then black reduces white's liberties and threatens to make eyes this way. Now we get to the only real branch of the reading. White has two options here. If white wants to just outright kill black, because white feels confident that he's alive on both sides, then white can play this. Black connects, white plays here, and then black plays here, offering a ko, and white says, no ko, I'll just make a dead shape. But in this situation, it totally doesn't work because black can go ahead and take away white's second eye right here. And if white plays something like this, black can play here, and you can see that black's going to win the liberty race. It looks like black doesn't have a lot of liberties, but when you have a big eye like this, this is actually good for 8 liberties. It's a little funny when it's in the corner, but when you add this and this, I'm sure that black has at least 8 liberties, and white doesn't. So white's just going to die, and this is good for black. Even if white could somehow start a ko here, it still isn't good for white because it's going to be so many steps, because 8 liberties is a lot of steps in a ko. So it wouldn't even be a good ko if white could start a real one. All right, so therefore, trying this sort of kill is not good for white. So white will have to choose a different option. And white can start here, and white's goal is to start a ko. Then play here. This is the move that offers the ko or to connect out. Of course, black is going to split, and then white denies black eye shape. Only problem for white is it's black's turn, and black doesn't even need to start the ko. Black can go ahead, and this is just the easiest sequence to read. Black can just go ahead and say, I'm denying you 2 eyes up here. So when this ko happens, if I win the ko, I'm killing these stones and I'm killing these stones, which means I'm dominating the top. So white has no choice but to go ahead and start the ko. The problem is black gets to take first, and there are no ko threats on this board that are nearly as big as this. About the biggest I can see is here. But if black just captures, and then white captures, let's look at the situation on the board. Number 1, black has a ton of points along the top, and there's no aji there. So it's also very thick. So that's great for black. Number 2, as I showed earlier, this A group isn't yet alive. Number 3, black's got sente, which in the wimpy situation, the option I chose, actually white ended with sente. So this is 3 big advantages of doing it this way. And it's very clear that the game is good for black. So, what's the takeaway? Well, it's the same as episode 3 over again of play the damn wedge. Okay, it's a figurative wedge in this case, but it's go ahead and cut white off and fight. But the only way you can fight is if you can read. In this case, I had to make the decision to move 62, and now it's move 82. So I had to read 20 moves. But there was only really 2 variations within that. there was the big I variation, and there was the co-variation. And other than that, the moves were pretty straightforward. So although I don't typically read 20 moves ahead in my games, I can see the value of it. And I need to keep doing problems because I need to improve the confidence in my reading and the depth of my reading. And if I can do that, then I will get the confidence to play through a sequence like this. And I'll bet you can do the same. Anyway, that's it for this time. See you next time.